shall start at a very obvious place, Vidushan. Winners. Who is going to win the Premier League this year? I want you first, then Jim, and sadly me after that.
So you're going to go last. You're going to base your answer off our answers, which is smart. It's what I'd do if I was hosting. So, fair play.
Okay.
I've gone for Manchester City.
Well.
So you were momentarily stunned into silence there.
You didn't listen to a word I said last season. I said it's over. The empire's gone.
Yeah, but
You're saying that to try and mug me off. That's
I'm
what you're
not
doing.
saying it to mug you off.
You are.
I am saying it because, as we saw since January, they're clearly plotting something. And of all the... I'm not saying anti-terrorism should be looking into what they're doing there, but...
Good. That'll save us some legal battles.
Just maybe have a little walk by, have a knock on the door, see who answers it.
Blimey, O'Reilly.
But there's a lot of stuff happening at Man City that I think at the start of, or rather the midway point of last season was centered around a bit of saving face, when actually they were just almost kind of... To bring another sport into this, there's always this thing that Novak Djokovic drops a set when he's basically recovering so that he can then go into the next set and be at his certainly at a fuller capacity to then take the whole game.
That is possible.
And I feel like Man City were doing that for the last half of that season with the acquisitions of Marmoush, Gonzalez, and then the way they've added to that this summer. They've signed 10 players this year alone for about 300 million.
Unsettled squad. Can he get them to gel?
And also Pep has clearly been rejuvenating as well. So that's why I've gone for them.
See, that I would disagree with that last point.
Yes,
I think
Jim.
Pep still looks as kind of anxious as he did in the previous season in a way that we've not seen him look before. We've seen him look very intense and very focused, but he does he's been talking about stress and strain and all these different things a bit in a way that is relatively new for him.
Looked relaxed at Heaton Park when he went to Oasis.
Well, you would, wouldn't you? Just the euphoria will do that for you. But I think Omar Marmoush is kind of a really significant player, and having had half a season under his belt there, I think we're going to see a really significant contribution from him. I think the argument is strong. Like those 10 players are obviously they're all high quality or they wouldn't be at Man City in the first place. There is obviously Rodri's picked up an injury again. He will return at some point, and you expect he'll come back at a very, very high level because he's Rodri. They have cover for him now in a way they didn't before, so that they're better equipped to weather that storm. I think in Ryan Aït-Nouri, they've got a really, really good player. There's possibly a bit of a gap at right back. I think they might yet address that in this window, or they might just repurpose someone, which they're very good at doing because obviously they have a lot of very versatile players. So I don't think it's the most outrageous shout to suggest that they're going to be in the mix for it.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's outrageous. I was just offended.
Yeah, sure, of course. Because once again, you've not been listened to. You do rule with an iron mouth, don't you? This podcast
with an iron tongue. Okay. I suppose I really thought you were going to say another team. Are you going to see...
I gathered that.
No. Yeah. Well, are you going to say that team, Jim?
Yeah, I'm going to go for Liverpool.
Yeah,
I think Vish is talking complete bollocks, actually, on reflection. No, I think City are
We're going to have a right
set.
laugh at him coming in the season, aren't we?
I think the improvements that Liverpool have made from the position of strength that has been mentioned over and over again all across the media is quite profound if it works out. Hugo Ekitike already looks really good. If they get Isak, obviously that's just game changing. We're all screwed if that happens. I do think they need to sign at least one centre back because it does look like a position where they could be a bit short if there are injuries or suspensions or whatnot. But I just think they won the league at a canter last season. I think it was 10 points in the end, wasn't it? But I think it could have been higher than that. It was
a canter.
Because they could slow down a bit after they'd kind of wrap things up. They were far and away the best team in the league. I think it's easy to argue that they've improved again. Obviously, changing the fullbacks might come with a little bit of a kind of bedding in period that could cost them a few points here and there. But the way Slot got them up and running immediately suggests that actually we're all saying this, aren't we? We're like, well, maybe there'll be a little bit of a settling in period. But I mean, the entirety of last season was a settling in period for him in a sense. So there's also an argument that based on what we've seen of his qualities, he'll be able to weather that and manage that. And they have such momentum about them as well. There's such a force at the moment, and they know it. There's no anxiety about Liverpool. That's something that's very impressive about them as a club. Most other clubs have a sense that, like, oh God, the pressure's kind of difficult to deal with here. They seem to thrive in it. So I think that will be that will get them through. And I think it's also worth mentioning that it's very difficult to retain a title.
Yes.
I think you have to be a very special team to do that. And Liverpool have, what looks to me a very special team.
Yeah.
This settling period last year, though, was purely Arne Slot as
Yes.
Liverpool manager.
Yes.
It was a very settled squad.
Yep.
It was a squad that had been in place and done brilliant things with the previous guy.
Mm-hmm.
And now there is genuine settling to be done because they've lost Trent Alexander-Arnold, because Andy Robertson is being phased out. I think that's certainly a big enough deal that I don't have them as champions. I'm not saying they're going to have a bad season necessarily, but there are more things to work out this season than there were last season.
Jamie Carragher's certainly a bit concerned about the defence, isn't he? Tweeting away, and other people saying, look, they have looked a little bit suspect at the back, but I mean, it's still pre-season, and
like it's all we don't really know.
Of
and
course.
look, the reason we're doing the show is not because we have the answer, it's because we know we don't.
Yeah.
Exactly, Vish. Exactly. Good to restate that. The Discord for Ramble was split between Liverpool and Man City, apparently. Now, gentlemen, I'm going to come to my prediction. Now, I often take a different approach to predictions.
Do you need us here for this, or
Yeah.
he just teed up his own prediction?
I'd like you to light my cigar while I'm talking. I sort of... Liverpool is the obvious answer. And I thought, but I also like to kind of will things into existence.
How's that going?
Well, Jim, we shall see. So I looked at this and I thought, I don't think Man City will do it, because I'm going to stick to what I was preaching last season. I try to make an argument for it not to be Liverpool because it's such an obvious answer to me. And I think that I'm trying to look for a Tony Blair third way. And Jim, you were very, very down about Arsenal the other week, about what you thought.
I don't know if I was very down. I think I was just down.
Okay.
You were talking about you might start supporting Tottenham now.
For the Super Cup final, I was. So, Jim, let me try and will this into existence to cheer you up. I've gone for Arsenal.
Part of me was thinking he's going to say Chelsea. He's going to mug me off here. But I can get behind that.
What do you think of that?
I love the idea of it. I really do.
I thought you might.
Well, look, I guess
Do you think I'm being stupid? Have I just thrown away a category there?
The argument for it is, I think this should the players that they've signed function in the way that they are intended to.
Yes.
I think there's a strong argument that this is the strongest squad they've had under Arteta.
I agree with that.
And it's a lot more. It's well balanced and it's built to kind of weather injuries.
Yep.
And you got the kind of X factors of Ethan Nwaneri and, to a point, Max Dowman, who, although I would. Part of me hopes we don't really see him in the Premier League because he is 15 years old and he needs room to sort of develop and to grow and kind of not be in the spotlight that he's in at the moment, really.
Arteta turns to a 15-year-old.
So much of it depends on.
Make me proud, boy.
Yeah. So much of it depends on Gyökeres, I think, and to a degree, Kai Havertz. And I think there will be a sort of jostling between them for who kind of leads the line there. And Havertz has looked good in pre-season. He's physically bigger, actually looks a bit quicker as well. So if you add those elements to Havertz's game, and if he can sort of improve his finishing in some degrees, he's a player who is going to score goals. He got 15 in all comps last season, which was Arsenal's top scorer. So I think if those two players in particular can score regularly, then there is an argument that they're going to stay there, because Arsenal are very hard to beat. You can win the league like that. We've seen managers do it.
Very much so. So, Jim, we don't normally do this, but I'm inviting you now. Do you want to change your prediction on this?
I still think it's going to be Liverpool, but I hope it is Arsenal.
Okay,
obviously.
fair enough. Well,
the other thing about, just quickly on what Jim said there, is that Arsenal now have two ways of playing.
yes.
They have a way of playing with Gyökeres, which will have to work out, and they know they have a way of playing with Havertz.
Yeah.
And similarly, Zubimendi in midfield next to Declan Rice means, to me anyway, means Martin Odegaard can do more of the things he's the very best at.
Pushes everybody up.
Yeah. I stress, like, I don't think anybody. There's a reason why I said Arsenal as well. Obviously, I just couldn't bring myself to say Liverpool again. I couldn't bring myself to say Man City. Just a bit more. So there's that. But there are reasons why I think Arsenal could do it. I really hope they do, just to kind of make it less predictable, I suppose. You know, I'd like Fulham to win the league ultimately, but, you know, so that's what I've gone for. Anyway, let's move on to the next category, overachievers. Now, this is open to interpretation, of course, come the end of the season. So choose wisely, gentlemen. Lots of Discorders have been saying Everton. And a few have been saying Sunderland. So one could argue that if Sunderland stayed up or finished, say, 15th or something, that could be overachieving. Everton, European football would certainly be overachieving for them. So again, there's a little bit of wiggle room with this one. So Vish, what have you?
So I put Everton.
Did you?
But,
okay.
I put them as my potential surprise package or overachievers, but not with the pretense of them getting European football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just having a normal season would be an overachievement for Everton, especially when you throw in the fact that it's a new stadium as well.
Yeah.
And so I have them in, I can't be asked counting down, wherever they are. They're not in the top half of the table in my
doing the
my
league,
predicted table.
Trying to do your predicted table is such a
so
chore.
difficult.
Well, yeah, because there's the stuff that matters at the top and bottom.
Yeah.
And at that point, if you're getting upset about who we're picking at 14th, people have to go somewhere.
Yeah, this is it. Honestly, if you haven't, I know it sounds stupid, but if you haven't done your predictor table, I absolutely implore every single one of you listening to this to do it. It's so difficult.
It really is.
Anyway, carry on. So you've gone for Everton.
Yeah, I've gone for Everton just for the reasons that of what we expect from a lot of teams now because of previous overachievement from, say, let's look in the last season or so from Palace and Bournemouth. They, to me, were top of the list of teams rather, who could have a season that many wouldn't have predicted of them without it necessarily being an over-the-top, parade type season.
And if Everton won a trophy, that would be overachieving.
But again, I don't think they'd do that.
Yeah,
this is what I'm saying, yeah.
So you think they're going to finish mid-table and you think that is overachieving for Everton? Okay. If that does happen...
I think stylistically, the way they would do it, in the way that... Bournemouth didn't have a brilliant season last season. They did have a very
they nearly did.
They nearly did.
That's it, isn't it?
And I think stylistically, the way Everton end up mid-table would be enough to see them as overachievers.
Well, okay. If they do, then you'll have to back your calls come the end of the season, of course. So it seems a long way away, Vish and Jim, but it will come around quick. Jim, who are you going for the overachievers?
It's threatening me with the future. It's really confusing. I've also gone for Everton for similar reasons. Because I think it's about arresting the direction of travel. And also, I think that they're a club where you look at them and think, I feel quite confident, actually, that they're going to be significantly better than last season. Also, something they have that no one really other than the promoted teams have, or certainly will have if David Moyes gets his the 10 new players that he wants, is that they'll be pretty unpredictable. They'll be kind of unrecognisable from last season. We know that Moyes is very, very good at drilling his players into doing the basics and the simple stuff, making them hard to beat, and then using that as a platform to take them, a bit further in terms of achieving things. And I think the environment is perfect for that. Now, one thing that complicates these predictions is the fact that obviously the transfer window is still open. So some teams might look quite different by the time that closes. But as things are now, I do think that things are really positive for Everton, actually, and that Jack Grealish is a potentially transformative signing in a fairly low-pressure environment for him to a degree where he can really express himself. So, I've gone for them too. Yeah. I think Palace might be another one you could throw in there because I think they have a brilliant manager.
I've gone... It's a tough one to pick because, again, like you said, Vish is finishing 12th and overachievement. I understand that could be argued. I mean, it certainly would be from the promoted sides, but, I thought about this and I thought, sod it. I'm going for Fulham. I'm going for my boys, Fulham. I think they might clinch. I think this might be the season where they really just clinch maybe a Europa League spot. Or
you know what? I thought
or a Conference League spot.
I thought about Fulham.
Did you?
Part of the reason was because they very nearly got a lot of good results last season. And it was only marginal things that meant they missed out in games that should have been wins or should have been draws. They've also... I thought Anthony Robinson would be out the door. It looks like he's not going anywhere. He's one of the best fullbacks in the league.
He's staying at Fulham.
There are definitely players there where you think they can get a little bit more out of them. Now, the argument against it would be that they've been extremely inactive in the transfer market. So again, presumably that will change. But yeah, I mean,
to try and spin that as a positive, I'd say it's a very settled squad. If you watch any of their social media output, which I bloody well do, lovely vibes. really lovely vibes.
It'd be quite clumsy of them to put out bad vibes on a club account, wouldn't it?
Another fight at training.
Yeah. We never did see that ruck between Abu and.
Oh yeah, I know you mean. Yeah. Mitro.
Yeah, Mitro. Yeah, doing a yoga session.
Well, that's
a shame.
Neither of them at the club anymore. So
yeah,
or would have Mitro.
Exactly. So release the tapes. We know it happened. Release the tapes.
Well, why did they burn the tapes?
Good point.
So they couldn't be released.
Yeah.
I'm going Fulham. Settled squad. Another summer with Marcus Silva, who's got them all wound up, and that man is determined to. They had a record points tally in the Premier League Fulham last season, and I think, I bloody well think they can do it.
Can I ask you a cheeky question?
Yeah.
Usually
you save that for Ramble Uncut.
Given the links to Saudi Arabia at the end of last season, giving the links to Tottenham, you have a settled squad. Do you have a settled manager?
Yeah, it's fair. I think yes, this season. Next summer we'll see.
Because of the missed opportunities. There's nothing available right now that could take his eye.
Possibly. I think next summer he'll be at Fulham for a while.
Yeah. It'd be his longest job, wouldn't it?
Probably.
It might already be.
Yeah, if they were to get European football in any capacity, I think that would probably make him stay. But it depends which jobs turn up. Blah blah blah. So yeah, I think next summer it will be crunch time, as it often is with Marcus Silva. But at the moment, settled and staying. Right, gentlemen. Next category, and it's a harsh one. First manager to leave / be sacked. The consensus from our listeners was Daniel Farke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that is the answer?
I think it is because he's already had to justify his job once before the season started.
Yes.
They were openly considering replacing him.
Yeah, so you both gone Farke.
Well, I just think that rarely ends with a triumph. I think the pressure's already on him. And obviously it's very difficult early on. And I that factor is what decided it for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
In the way that previously you just go, well, yeah, whoever's at Watford.
Yeah.
I do have another one, and it's purely based on how things ended last season. And it's also replicating what I wrote this time last year.
Go on, say it.
Nuno.
Oh!
I mean, Farke is my actual answer.
Yes.
But there's something about where Forest are at the moment in their hierarchy, not necessarily on the pitch. Like even the Morgan Gibbs-White announcement video of his new contract. It's like, come on, mate.
I know you
come
mean.
on, Marinakis. You don't need to be front and centre of everything.
Totally. Any club with Marinakis in charge, yeah.
Exactly. And it's less about Nuno and what he's done and more about the man who's in charge of hiring and firing at that club.
Yes. It's funny, when you said at the start, I go last so I can kind of canvass opinion and then change it. I was very tempted and go, yeah, Farke was my answer. But it wasn't my answer. Farke's not my answer. I find this one really, really hard because it's not nice a man will lose his job.
Well, you're not delivering the news, though, are you?
I know. But for a fee, I would. I was really trying to think about this, and I just wondered with the promoted clubs, blah, 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 blah. I went for Vitor Pereira.
Yeah, that's not a bad one.
I know he ended the season, fairly well with the Wolves, but they've lost, one or two big players.
Yeah.
I know it sort of kept on one or two. He can be a bit of a nutter. And we didn't see that last season, and first the points and then the pints and all this kind of good stuff.
He's been nomadic, hasn't he? Which
I just wonder if So that's a bit of a punt, but I wonder if that's the case. On our Discord, as I say, the consensus was very much Daniel Farke. Goth Botherer on Discord said Eddie Howe, and Dan on X said Pep Guardiola. Go on, Dan. That's the stuff. All right, top scorer. Vish, who have you got the top
boring
scorer?
Haaland.
Yep, same.
And even I've got the same for that.
Right.
I think, to try and maybe go for Gyökeres, I think, by the way, I'm going to say his name differently every time, Gyökeres, Gyökeres.
And we got rid of the one who cares about that kind of stuff as well, haven't
Exactly,
we?
yeah.
So we're fine.
I believe it's a Hungarian name, so it would be Gyökeres if you were to really try and double doon. But it's up to
Vish
him.
did on Nuno.
Yes, it's up to him how he says it, of course.
Double doon.
Because he is a Sweden international. But yeah, so anyway, Haaland, Discord is split between Haaland and Mo Salah. Chris on Instagram said João Pedro. I mean, if he's pinging them in like he was in the Club World Cup, nobody went for Liam Delap though. That would be great though for England. Always got to think about the big picture. Vish.
How many games do you think Liam Delap's going to play for Chelsea How many games do you think he's going to start for Chelsea?
I think he'll start the majority up front.
Yeah, because Pedro can play wide and often does play wide, doesn't he? I believe.
Or in behind.
So,
but they have so many wide players.
Yeah, they do. And they love them. But they love to rotate.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's not a category.
Liam Delap will be top scorer in the Champions League.
Okay, let's create a new category. How many games is Liam Delap going to start? Player of the season. Lots of Discorders picking Florian Wirtz.
I've also gone for Wirtz.
Have you?
I think actually though it's a symptom of how difficult it is to call this when you've not seen a player kick a ball.
Yep.
And I think it's probably that he's a shiny new toy.
Right.
He looked very good in the Community Shield.
Yeah, he got his runners-up medal.
Yeah, exactly. Got his runners-up medal. But those early links with Ekatike were really, really strong and really good. Part of me wondered if Ekatike might be a shout for this as well, just because he looks so impressive and obviously has got a really good platform around him to get the best out of him. But I've gone for Wirtz just because I think similarly to Ekatike, he's got all the moving parts around him that are a brilliant platform for his skills, and we've seen how good he is.
Fisho?
So bear in mind it tallies with my other predictions. Player of the season, I've gone for Phil Foden.
Ooh,
Back on the wagon.
you must enjoy that. England's Phil Foden.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a right old headache before the World Cup. But it would be a headache that we all want. But
you're more concerned about a selection dilemma next summer than giving our predictions for the Premier League.
Well,
season.
I'm going to counter that, and I've got Bukayo Saka.
Nice.
You having that, Jim?
I'd love that. But it is, again, it's consistent with your prediction that Arsenal will win the league. He will remain Arsenal's most important player.
Yep.
He's looked very sharp in pre-season.
Yep.
So
you learn from me. One of the good things is if you predict some good stuff happening to someone else's team, they'll do the arguments for you.
And also,
sorry about that. Anthony Robinson's going to be the player of the season.
This is brilliant for me because if Arsenal don't win the league, then I get to enjoy you being wrong.
So
yeah, good
it's a win-win
silver
for you.
lining. Yeah.
It hasn't happened before, so I suppose that would be, don't look.
You're right.
Don't
Yes.
listen to any other prediction shows. Next category: team with most red cards this season. Vish, what are you gone for?
I've gone for West Ham.
West Ham.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think there'll be a lot of anger.
Well, they'll take it out of the opposition.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate fans can't get red cards that count towards. There'll probably be more banning orders than red cards, but there'll be enough red cards for me to win this, I think.
All right.
I can't see a Graham Potter team going
you
that
heard
way.
his logic,
Yeah, I did hear his logic. But I've gone for Newcastle. And
right.
it's very much due to the kind of the way the wind is blowing at the moment where things seem to be going against them a little bit. And that may not translate into the rest of the season. But they've got a lot of very sort of tough, big physical players. And they kind of get away with a fair bit. And if the wind is to change a little on that in terms of refereeing.
Arsenal fan, by the way.
Well, look, but they're a tough team. They're a physical side. We all know that. And when things start going against you, they tend to be quite catastrophic. So that's my logic there. We'll see by the end of the season. It might be Fulham. Who knows?
Okay. I've gone for Sunderland, the Granit Xhaka factor. Back in the Prem. He knows how to get a red card.
He does. And he also doesn't know how to not get a red card, which is a sort of complicating factor, isn't it? Or contributing factor.
It is. Possibly the harshest category. Who's going to get relegated, Vish?
All the teams who've come up.
Do you think again?
What are they called again? Hold on, I just had their names here.
Newly promoted
Leeds United,
sides.
Sunderland and Burnley.
Yeah, okay. Well, the consensus on Discord was Burnley to go down. Presumably, we've all got Burnley in there. Yeah. Jim, who are your other two?
So I've gone for Burnley, Leeds and Wolves. I've got caught up in the Sunderland hype, and I do agree with what you've said about Wolves, the situation where they've lost really, really key players. They've still got some good players in there. I think Strand Larsen's a really good player. But I think it might be difficult for them. But they've been here for a while. They've proved people wrong very, very consistently, and they may make a mockery of that really quickly.
Try and undo your prediction, Jim. You think they're going to be crap and they're going down.
I was tempted by, the idea that the three promoted teams just go straight down every season now, but I so desperately don't want that to be the case.
Right, so you're trying to will that into
yeah, I am trying to will it into
there you go.
existence,
So you're on board with me now. I too have got caught up with the Sunderland hype. David Cartledge said on this very podcast that he thinks they're going to stay up. That's good enough for me. I think they'll survive. And picking another one though is so difficult. So I also went for Wolves, consistent with the Vitor Pereira prediction that I had. The consensus on Discord, again, Burnley to go down. Then there was a split between Leeds, Sunderland, Wolves and Brentford.
Yeah.
But I think,
Brentford.
but I just thought Granit Xhaka, he's not letting Sunderland go down, and Jordan Henderson's not letting Brentford go down.
Yeah. I think
But he might do it at
Brentford
the expense of Sunderland.
Well,
Oh.
Secret agent.
that's true. Tarkwind on Discord said West Ham.
Friend of mine supports West Ham. He's very worried about that potential situation.
Yeah, one of our producers supports West Ham. Are you worried about that? Are you worried about relegation? Just a nod. Yeah, he's worried. He's worried.
He's
You
been
can
nodding
shake
the whole
your
time.
Yeah, yeah, there was no shaking of the head. He's worried. They're worried. Well, okay. I'm not worried for West Ham.
No, I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, there you go.
I think they'll have a fucking awful time. And they'll
Oh, yeah, it won't be
hate
fun.
their
God,
own
it won't
team.
be terrible, yeah.
But I don't think they'll go
Yeah,
down.
They'll be begging to go down. Right. And then we get to the most celebrated category, notable mad shit. Vish, what have you gone for?
I think for the first time, this will be a notable mad shit prediction that everyone will get on board with. Bielsa back at Leeds.
Ooh.
Bloody hell.
Nice.
I really like that because that's a proper footballing prediction, but it would be mad.
Yeah.
And everyone would be behind it. You're right. Oh, that's very good.
I love that.
It's not going to happen, but it's very good.
I've
Jim?
gone for Evangelos Marinakis to be arrested in his underwear in a dawn raid by Interpol.
He'll surely be wearing a white T-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, but
He
that
still could be in his underwear.
bedclothes, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Would he have a
I
little-
can't say what I want to say legally, so yes, there's the prediction. We move on. I have channeled the spirit of a Pete Donaldson prediction from years gone by. Jason Tyndall's bum will be seen.
Yep, I can see that happening.
I imagine what would be the closest to that this season would be him telling someone to kiss his ass and slapping his ass in front of them. And I think if that happens, when that happens, we should give Pete the points for that.
Yeah.
Or, you the points for that.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll
Having
happen.
channeled Pete.
Maybe it will happen to Eddie Howe as Tyndall completes his,
Yeah.
betrayal, like Steve Keane did to Sam Allardyce at Blackburn Rovers all those years ago.
Glory days. Well, we've got some ones from our good listeners. Big Con and Lewis Smith on Discord both predicted Granit Xhaka and Joel Linton to have a fight in the Tyne-Wear derby. That's a good
I can
prediction.
see that.
That's not mad. That should happen.
I presumably when they say a fight, they mean a proper one, not just like grabbing shirts.
Oh, fair.
Yeah. I'm putting words in your mouth, Con and Smith, but there we are. That's what I do. Harlem on X, Alexander Isak wears a Sunderland shirt to force a move.
Trying everything else.
Yeah, true. Turns up in training with it. Jack on X, Evangelos Marinakis is spotted in the away end when Nottingham Forest go to Selhurst Park.
There's going to be something in those games. The first one's quite early on as well.
What I like about that is it's vague enough in that if he just steps foot in there, like right at the end, or do you know what I mean? Good prediction that, Jack. Luke on X, Big Sam comes back to save West Ham. Glance at producer George. He gives the hammer sign there. I don't know whether that's to endorse Big Sam or not.